Well, the sky's already lighting up and it's not even sunrise. I'm Gulf Coast meteorologist Jason Dunning. Look at the lightning, and this has been the view of the morning from Fort Myers Beach.
Jason, can we expect just another beautiful morning here with us, or are we getting more rain today in that pattern?
More rain, yes. Beautiful morning. We've got that too. So kind of a little bit of everything today. Classic rainy season setup. I just wanted to highlight one neighborhood there, Cape Coral, over the last 24 hours, close to 4 inches of rain. This is an area that meteorologists refer to as flash flood alley, just because of the way, you know, the lay of the land. So
the hill country,
yeah. Exactly. I mean, if you get a torrential downpour like this, it trains, as we say, basically stays over the same area, dumps just a tremendous amount of rain. It only has one place to go. This represents how much rain we've seen so far this year, okay? So since January 1st, that's about 38 inches of rain. In this empty picture, this mark here, 55 inches, that's normal up to this point of the year. So this is the mark that we should hit. So let's see how close we come to hitting that mark. So I'm going to pour the observed rainfall that we've seen. Now this is from Fort Myers and Cape Coral. It's different depending on where you look across the Gulf Coast. And you can see there's quite a gap there. This is pretty unusual. But a hurricane is much larger than just a single point on the map. So instead of using the soccer ball, I've recruited some help from South Cape Community Center. And so what we're going to do to help you visualize a hurricane as it moves down the forecast cone, let's pull up this parachute. There we go. That looks more like the size of a hurricane. All right, so what I want you to do is watch it as we move down the forecast cone. Notice how the edges of the storm extend beyond the forecast cone. Just goes to show you, you don't have to be in the cone to see major impacts.
This seawall right here was failing and had to be constantly repaired. So researchers installed more natural barriers like these grassy marshes to absorb some of the wave energy, and it worked.
Right now it's on a trajectory about like this, assuming we don't see any more wobbles or deviations in the track. And even, 10 to 20 miles can make a big difference in terms of impacts. But here's the takeaway. We are going to see storm surge here in Southwest Florida. We'll start with an update on the tropics and the big weather story heading into the 4th of July weekend. Rain chances for us, that will be the main impact regardless of tropical development. And right now you can see we have a lot of tropical air around. We've got this big tropical air mass, and that will start spreading into the Southwest Florida Gulf Coast tomorrow. And this is also something else we're tracking. This is what's going to help kind of spawn that area of low pressure that could develop tropically over the weekend. You can see that front now closer to Atlanta, but that'll drop into north central Florida, stalling out this weekend, and we could see an area of low pressure develop along that. That would be north of us. And you may have noticed over the last couple days, this whole region that the National Hurricane Center is highlighting has shifted more to the northeast. So I think there's a better chance, if we do see tropical development, for that to happen over the western Atlantic. Doesn't change for us the main impacts, so that will be more tropical moisture and higher rain chances for Southwest Florida. And you can see, by the way, those development odds up to 40% for the next 7 days. Our rain chances much higher than that, 60% today. Today's kind of a transition day, more typical rainy season weather. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be the wettest. I've got rain chances up to around 70 to 80%. Right down the Gulf Coast live radar, I'm tracking a thunderstorm over southern portions of Collier County, south of those of you in Naples, but you can see some of those lightning strikes. We've got 10 in the last 15 minutes, and this will gradually continue to build over toward Chokoloskee and Everglades City and around the Ochapi area. Up into Charlotte County, some rain that is in the process of fading away closer to Northport. So here's your Wednesday forecast. Look at it hour by hour here. Just some low rain chances through the morning with a few of those isolated showers and storms near the coast, and then we'll see more of a scattering of rain and some of those downpours by the afternoon and evening. Let's go through your latest futurecast together, and we're starting off with clouds and partial sunshine, and then here comes the rain again. We'll see inland rain and storms, and also watching for some showers and thunderstorms to build in from the Gulf later this afternoon into the evening. So it looks like a wet evening and at least the first part of the night before the rain starts to wind down, and then cranking up as we head into at least the 3rd of July and also again for the 4th and into Saturday. We do have a Gulf Coast weather impact day starting tomorrow just because of the widespread rain and that potential for a few areas of flooding just because of how soggy and saturated the ground is. Here's how things will play out for Thursday, and you can see rain becomes more widespread closer to midday. I think there's even a really good chance of rain in the morning. That wave of
of rain fades, and then we'll see more areas of rain and thunderstorms with a similar timing heading into the 4th of July. So morning, midday, afternoon rain. I'm not saying it's going to be a complete washout every single day. It's not going to be raining every hour, so there will be some dry time. And hopefully we'll be fortunate that by Friday night, we get a little bit of a break in the rain before it starts to crank back up on Saturday. But you can see those weather impact days here, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. We see that tropical moisture streaming in. It does not look like a big wind event for us, mainly just some rain. That is your Gulf Coast weather.
Nestled between the steady hum of two major highways in Fort Myers lies a hidden oasis, a lush green corridor pulsing with life.
The plants are filtering the water.
For Sabine Vandenhende, this wildlife haven is more than just a scenic escape. It's her sanctuary.
My husband tells me when he sees that I'm a little antsy or nervous, he says, go to your happy place, go to the slough.
The 6-mile Cypress Slough Preserve is a narrow ribbon of wetland winding through the heart of Lee County, a place where nature thrives and surprises await around every bend.
It always feels different each time I come in here, and I always feel like I find something I haven't seen before.
From August through October, the slough offers a more immersive experience with guided tours known as the Wet Walk, allowing you to wade through its refreshing, gently flowing water.
Yeah, we're just going to keep going on the path here.
David Minnick has been leading wet walks for 5 years, helping visitors safely navigate their way through the water.
We just try and talk about the science of it.
The biggest challenge isn't the wildlife, but the maze of cypress trees and tangled roots beneath your feet.
Once in a while we'll see a snake on a log. That kind of always catches you by surprise. Generally not in the water. It's just the nature of the science that we're moving along, and our percussion of our footsteps, gentle as they are, and the vibration we make as we move through the water.
The water moves slowly, taking an 11-day journey through the cypress forest before eventually flowing into the Gulf. Along the way, the slough's rich vegetation acts like a natural filter.
We take measurements all along the length of the slough, and we notice that the plants absorb a good number of fertilizers, herbicides, detergents, that stuff that just is in natural runoff. So the water is getting cleaner.
During the rainy season, the slough becomes even more vital, replenishing our aquifer and storing rainwater. Without it, flooding during storms and hurricanes would be much worse.
It's the biggest retention pond in Lee County. I mean, and it's right in the heart. So yeah, we absorb all the excess water in hurricanes.
Beyond its environmental benefits, the slough has served as a living classroom for more than 30 years. The Wet Walk is a field trip favorite for local schools during the week and a weekend retreat for nature lovers.
Oh, the energy is incredible. Yeah, no, that's very rewarding, and like I said, when we get done, everybody is energized.
The story of the slough began in the 1970s when a determined group of local high school students, known as the Monday Group, launched a grassroots campaign to shield the wetland from development. Their efforts sparked a movement, and today their legacy is a reflection of the spirit of the slough.
This place seems to bring the best out of people. We have a rock garden where you can get commemorative rocks, and there's a rock in there that says, "Slough, thank you for healing me," that I think of often. And I think any number of us have just found this is a certain sense of renewal when we come over here and spend some time.
Meteorologist Jason Dunning, Gulf Coast News.
During the hurricane season, when we talk about a cone, you probably think of the forecast cone or the cone of concern. Whatever you call it, it's actually one of the most misunderstood forecasts from the National Hurricane Center. Let me show you why, using these smaller cones, I've created a larger hurricane forecast cone. If there's a threatening storm, it's natural to ask yourself, am I in the cone or am I outside the cone? We use this information to decide if we're going to take action as the storm is heading our way, so it's critical to understand how to interpret the cone. I'll use this soccer ball right here to represent the center of the storm. It's like that dot or swirling icon that you see on TV. And most of us probably assume that the storm will go right down the middle of the cone. But that's usually not the way that it works. The storm or soccer ball can go to the right or to the left. And then 1 out of 3 times, hurricanes can go outside the forecast cone. But a hurricane is much larger than just a single point on the map. So instead of using the soccer ball, I've recruited some help from South Cape Community Center. And so what we're going to do to help you visualize a hurricane as it moves down the forecast cone, let's pull up this parachute. There we go. That looks more like the size of a hurricane. All right, so what I want you to do is watch it as we move down the forecast cone. Notice how the edges of the storm extend beyond the forecast cone. Just goes to show you, you don't have to be in the cone to see major impacts like storm surge, flooding, tornadoes, or strong winds. I'm Gulf Coast meteorologist Jason Dunning. I'm joined with a special guest right up there, Iggy the iguana. Iggy's watching the forecast closely, all right? Because you know it's cold in South Florida when you start talking about falling iguanas. It's all right. Iggy is not real. He'll be fine. All right, so we're looking at temperatures here across the Gulf Coast. Tuesday morning, near record cold. And check this out. If you're wondering about the iguanas, once temperatures get to around 50, they start slowing down. But then, once temps start to get to around 45, that's when they could potentially fall out of a tree. At least temporarily, they become immobilized. But watch, as temperatures start to warm back up, yeah, they're fine. They wake up. But just stay away from them when they're stunned if you happen to see one. And don't worry, Iggy is just fine. There we go. No animals were harmed during the filming of this video.